Welcome, our virtual water cooler friends, to the 41st episode of Into the Filmverse. What is Into the Filmverse, you ask? Well, that is a great question. It's a movie fan podcast covering all types of film content, including movie news, new releases, and a variety of past releases. I'm Mytchel Chandler.
And I'm Bryce Payne.
And today we are discussing Marvel's newest release, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, John Boyega's Naked Singularity, and 3 new horror films being James Wan's Malignant, Don't Breathe, 2, and Candyman.
I just want to say, we've been gone. We're still alive. We've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Life hit us like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, we've been maneuvering some stuff, both of us, but we're back, ready to rock and roll and get back out there. So
it's been a rough month.
It has been. But we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about, though. So that's what we're excited about today. And we do talk about a lot of movies on the podcast. So if you want to hear our reviews for the films we talk about, or even some we don't bring up, then join us on Letterboxd, a social platform for movie reviews. You can find me, Mytchel Chandler, at Mytch Reviews, and that's MYTCH.
You can find me, Bryce Payne, at Payne Reviews, Payne Reviews.
Before we dive into some of the weekly movie or our monthly movie watches at this point,
weekly, yes,
weekly,
last 4 weeks,
weekly. We just add +4. We're gonna discuss some of the latest movie trailers we've seen. But even before we do that, what we like to do is talk about like the Disney Plus, Marvel newest content. And since we have a few episodes of What If to talk about. So we're kind of lightning round these. So the first one we got to talk about, so the last one we talked about was Captain Carter. The next one after that was T'Challa becoming Star-Lord. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was just nice to see Chadwick Boseman, or I guess but hear him and his like reincarnated for like one last time.
Well, I mean, we'll get to that.
Okay.
No, I found the episode to be fun. I actually found it fucking hilarious that he was a better Star-Lord than Star-Lord.
Yeah, I know, right? Bro, Thanos.
Dude, it's like Star-Lord is such a fuck up, yet somehow him being a fuck up is the reality that works.
Exactly.
And when Star-Lord's T'Challa and it's like a good thing and it works and everything,
the
reality goes to shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, T'Challa is just a great Star-Lord, but I mean the purple eyes though, that was a nice touch. But otherwise, it was. I'm trying to remember your title, but I know Thanos never ended up trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet.
He's like, oh, he showed me a better way.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, T'Challa just showed me a better way because he's the king. And I was just like, bro, y'all making like T'Challa look like the badass motherfucker of the whole universe. I think Yondu's almost sucking his. I mean, he's almost over here like, you amazing, my bro.
Like, I'm so happy I took you. And then it's just like, dude, you just think of like the parallel to like Peter Quill. It's just like, yeah, that's savage.
Bad and bougie. So yeah, I mean, so that was super cool.
It wasn't like I want to say it's like a top tier episode so far.
Nah.
But it was fun.
Howard the Duck, that scene was amazing. I was like, what? That convinced me that they should actually do a Howard the Duck movie or TV show.
They were going to on Hulu.
Well, they need to move it over to Disney Plus and do it now.
They canceled it.
Yeah, well, they need to uncancel it. I was like, the Howard the Duck, like, I was never convinced at but that right there, like that one scene of him just like, I don't even know what, I can't even remember what he did. All I know is like, that was like my favorite scene in that entire episode was Howard the Duck. I was like, Howard the Duck in like a Deadpool film? Yo, like that would be insane.
No,
it
was fun.
See, that one was pretty fun. And then we move on to the next What If episode of basically the Avengers getting martyred.
Oh, I like this episode a lot. I know you weren't like, yeah, exactly. Like I know you were like, oh, I didn't like it, and I was like, I watched it like I think 3 days after you. Well, compared to the other ones,
sure, yeah.
But like I watched it 3 days after you, and I was just like, I don't know, man. Like I had fun. Like it's like I don't know.
It kind of felt like if like that one thing like Deadpool kills the universe, but like if it was, I mean, no spoilers here, but it was Hank Pym that killed everybody.
I kind of was like, it's kind of bullshit. He's killing everybody, but at the same time, I was like, whatever, man. I'm sold. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I was like, all right, that's interesting, and I found it interesting how he was able to kill everyone. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
I did like hearing Mark Ruffalo's voice come out of the Incredible Hulk scenes because it really fucked with my head. Because I was like, man, I really expected to hear like Edward Norton and not.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was that movie but the scene was Mark Ruffalo's voice, so it was almost like, wait a minute, like, oh, I guess that technically, I forgot that is canon.
Well, I mean, I know, but I just like I really expected it to be like Edward Norton voice just for fucking shits and giggles,
right?
And it was like Mark Ruffalo being like, "Hey," and I was like, "What?" Hulk went out like a bitch. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I still think like that's not possible. You can't kill the Hulk, but that's okay.
It was fun.
I feel like there's only a few characters. I like two characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sorry, not Cinematic Universe. Just in general, like I feel like as a rule you can't actually kill, and that's the Hulk and Deadpool.
Dude, I just like I had so much fun with like seeing Nick Fury and Loki team up.
That was cool. Yeah, I got a kick out of that too.
Because it's like you think of Avengers where they're fighting, and then it's just like, no, we can get him together. It's like, oh, all right.
Like, yeah, well, I guess we get the same goal. All right, man.
But then Loki took over, which I also found funny because he was just like, "Oh, I'm here."
He's like, "I will rule you." So that one was pretty good.
Glorious purpose.
Exactly. The next one though, this is probably like I want to say my second. Honestly, this is the first time that Marvel has ever actually made me like feel sad at the end of their project. And this was Doctor Strange losing his heart instead of his hands.
I loved this episode.
I was not expecting the ending, dude. I really wasn't. I was expecting it to turn out well. And I mean, so the whole premise is that he loses Christine, which is his girlfriend, and
not his hands.
And instead of his hands, yeah, he loses her, and so he seeks out the mystic arts because of her. And then he does the thing with Dormammu. He gets the time stone, and then he tries to go back and basically
save Christine,
save her with the time stone, and it's a fixed point in time, and he can't. It's not possible.
According to like, I think it was a writer of the show.
Mm-hmm.
They actually consider it to be one of the Nexus events that the TVA would come in and just delete the timeline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like, I loved it. And then like, there's rumors because at the end of the episode, obviously Doctor Strange isn't dead, that he's going to show up as a villain in Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness.
That would be so cool. Yeah, because like the whole thing that happened was, he basically consumes all these other monsters and like things that have demons
and like that.
Cthulhu, basically, they have these like powers, and he like almost becomes not a human himself, but then he has to fight himself, and then he wins against like the evil version wins. But then it collapses the entire universe.
Yeah, he saves Christine and then loses her like less
instantly.
Yeah. And then it's just like he's sitting there. He's like he talks to the Watcher and he's like, "You can fix this. You're a god." And he's like, "I ain't no god."
He's like, "I don't think so, man. Like I'm good." He just walks away.
He's like, "You can fix this." He's like, "Oh, like you tried to fix Christine."
It's why bro, exactly. I was like, it's why he's called the Watcher. Now he doesn't do anything. And then, and the whole universe collapses, and he's just like, there's just like this one rock he's sitting on with a bubble around him, and he's just crying into the thing. And I was just like, yo, that is like the most like Marvel. Like, I respect you because like you have never done that on any project.
They're looking at what if like all these ideas we have that are too fucked up to make movies off of, we can do it in here, and it's like everyone will just accept it because it's not the main reality.
Right. Exactly. And I think what was it? Wasn't there one? I think. Was it when T'Challa became Star-Lord? There was like a thing that they wrote that they were like James Gunn was like, you can't do that because that was literally what Guardians 3 is.
Yeah. They had an idea and they were gonna do it, and then James Gunn was like, yo, you no.
That's literally Guardians 3. You can't do that.
And that might be a later episode though.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what else entire is coming, but this last one is my favorite out of all of them. Which is funny because it's the zombies episode, and I don't like zombies, but like when your favorite characters turn to zombies, like that. First of all, that's just cool.
Dude, I spent the entire. Okay, so I've read the Marvel Zombies comics, like all of them. I love them. Because Robert Kirkman, who made The Walking Dead, made those comics.
Oh wow!
So I was like watching it on. Jade was like, well, "Why does that happen?" I was like, "Well, in the comics, this is what happens." And then like they're different, but like there's things like spoilers, like T'Challa being like his leg eaten and shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's from the comics. Like, T'Challa was taken by Hank Pym, and Hank Pym would eat him because when they eat, they, like, retain some of their humanity and can think straight.
Oh, weird.
So he's, like, trying to make a cure by slowly eating T'Challa.
What the hell?
But, like, yeah, that's from the comics. I did like seeing Vision, like,
Yeah,
he's like, I couldn't kill Wanda, and I'm like, you simp.
Exactly. It's weird though. I mean, I kind of like that, especially after WandaVision. It just felt true to the character.
And then Marvel finally got to name drop Uncle Ben.
That's true.
For
they did
first time,
but it was not even Tom Holland. I mean, but I don't think that wasn't even Tom. Was it Tom Holland that did the voice? Was it?
No.
But that was my favorite part.
Sony wouldn't let him do it.
Oh, but Spider-Man. That whole thing was like just that whole that episode was full of Spider-Man, and I just loved every moment of it.
Oh yeah, dude! When he had the cape, I was like, "Oh shit, I love this."
He's so adorable. He's like, "Oh, it fits me, man."
I loved the ending of it.
Yeah,
like, I was like, "Oh, there's gotta in season 2, you gotta make a part 2 to this."
I was just like, "Oh no," because they were like, oh, "Okay, they made it to Wakanda. They're gonna make a cure," and then all of a sudden. Like it just cuts to like a zombie Thanos with his gauntlet, and I'm just like, no! And then they just cut to
5
black.
of the Infinity Stones on his hand.
I know. I was like, they didn't.
And then I was just like, oh man, you better make a part 2 to this in season 2. I swear to God.
I want to see more. I really do.
I was so proud, like when Hulk was just like Bruce Banner was just like, all right, man, we're gonna go out there, and if you don't fucking do your job, like we're fucked. Like
Ant-Man just as a head.
Yeah, I had so much fun. I had so much fun.
Yes, I mean that was
that's
like
what the show is though. The show's just fun. Like there's no
exactly yeah.
Each episode you're just like, this is just a fun time. And the next episode is with Killmonger saving Tony Stark in Iron Man 1.
That'd be interesting. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh yeah, I remember that.
There was a clip where it showed like I didn't show what he was punching, but I'm pretty sure it was Warmonger. And so Killmonger was punching Warmonger, which I'm like, okay, so Killmonger's like with Tony the whole time.
He never becomes Iron Man at that point, though.
I don't know.
At least I would assume not.
That's why I'm so excited, because like I don't know what he was punching, but he was like punching an iron, like a gray iron suit. So I was like,
interesting,
fucking Warmonger, right?
So yeah, we'll look forward to a lot more Disney Plus stuff. In fact, including looking forward to more Disney Plus stuff. In December, they're dropping the Hawkeye series, and
it looks so good.
Yeah, we just got the trailer for it.
It literally looks like Marvel looked at Daredevil and was like, "What did they do right, and how can we improve it?"
This is the justice that Hawkeye finally deserves, man. Like it felt like they were like, "All right, we want to do Hawkeye, but like throw in a bit of Die Hard."
Dude, it's just so cool because he's just like, you show the fallout of him being Ronin. And like,
yeah,
then he sees this person dressed like Ronin, and he's like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think so, man. And then there's one scene where I think he's talking to his family on the phone, and then like he like looks down out of the window, and he sees like the people creating a Molotov cocktail, and he's like, just give me a sec. And then he cracks the window open, and they throw the Molotov cocktail through the window, and then he catches it and throws it back at them, and I was like, yes, my dude.
I love the inclusion of the hearing aid.
That I saw that a lot, and I was wondering like if they're gonna touch on that. I'm sure they will, but like,
it's like one of the famous comic things of Hawkeye. Yeah. He goes deaf, so I was like, good for you guys. Like, let's do this. Like,
exactly. But I was confused on like who, because it was Kate. No, what's her name again?
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop. Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be his daughter, but I guess it's not.
No.
So it's just some other random chick that I'm like. Because there's a scene in there. He asks, like, "Are you one of them?" And I was like, "What does that mean?"
Have you heard the rumor? Because I guess somebody was like, "What if Kingpin showed up?"
I saw something about that. Vincent D'Onofrio was saying
he was like liking a bunch of tweets about like if he showed up as Kingpin.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a few.
I was like,
rumors.
How fucking cool would it be if during like the events in between Infinity War and Endgame, like fucking Hawkeye went and pissed off Kingpin?
That would be cool. But if if you think about it though, if that Kingpin does exist in his universe, that means that Daredevil exists, and that
No Way Home.
But yeah, exactly. Speaking of No Way Home, we also got a No Way Home trailer.
After fucking how many months?
I know. What is this? What is this? September, October, November? We have 3 months.
They announced this shit in like fucking like
2018,
dude, it's fucking stupid
or something like that. Yeah. But we know now. I was like, I think our first taste of everything was learning that Jamie Foxx was coming back as Electro.
Yeah, which he spoiled, and then he deleted the fucking tweet.
Exactly.
Marvel was like, "What are you doing?"
It's too late, bro. We knew, and even but because even in that post, even in that thing, he sent out all 3 Spider-Man were in it. Remember? I was like, and they're trying, and and then Tobey Maguire and fucking Andrew Garfield still trying to deny that they're in it. I'm sorry,
dude. Have you seen the HD clip of Andrew Garfield?
I don't know. I wasn't
like, I don't know how
sold.
to feel about it, but at the same time, like, I'm watching it and I'm like, this looks pretty legit. And then he's like, Photoshopped. I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, that's pretty extensive Photoshop to make a whole fucking like clip.
I saw it and I was just like, I'm just gonna move on. Like, but anyway, speaking of the actual trailer, like, all right, so we started out with like with
directly
MJ,
after Far From Home.
Exactly, with MJ and Peter being like on a rooftop, like, and Peter being like, man, this sucks that everybody knows who I am, and she's like, yeah, and then he's like, but I have an idea. And then he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like in some weird, like, I mean, he's in a sanctum.
Have you heard what they think's happened with that?
What?
They never fixed the roof in Infinity War, so the snow's just coming in.
That would be sad, but that makes sense. That makes like a lot of sense now that you mention it. But anyways, so basically does a spell to erase people's memory that
Tom Holland just like fucks up.
Exactly, and that's what it seems like. I'm not 100% like sold on that.
I'm like, okay, so the thing with Marvel movies, the trailers are always misleading.
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of things where they put things in trailer and then there's not actually in the movie. So
exactly.
like, I watched this trailer with a grain of salt because I'm like,
yeah,
how much of this is real?
But the big pops, obviously, we saw Green Goblin's grenade, exactly.
Dude, Willem Dafoe's laugh in the background gave me fucking chills. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, this Green Goblin! Oh shit!
Wait, that was the Joker.
And then Alpha Molina's Doc Ock.
Yes.
De-aging on him looks fucking great.
I actually thought it was really good. I was like, I could tell, but it's like, it was like
so good.
That being said, though, that was in like almost like a 2-second shot. We saw it out of context. I'm hoping it holds up throughout how long.
100%. There was like a clip, like people have scoured this trailer.
Yeah.
You can see Sandman in a scene.
What people think is Sandman.
I'm hoping it's Sandman.
I'm hoping it's Sandman too. But
there's Electro, which we already knew, which he's like the yellow lightning all throughout the trailer.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with because that's more comic book accurate, and I'm down with that.
Oh, I'm so much glad. I like the yellow.
There's a scene where like Tom Holland's like in this like I want to call it a sewer looking place, but there's you see something behind him try to slash
the
him.
lizard.
The lizard.
Are you thinking they're gonna do like the Sinister Six and then all 3 Spider-Man have to fight against him?
Yes. That's my bet, but I won't be mad if the Spider-Man don't show up because I kind of want to see Tom Holland had to fight everybody by himself. But at the same time, I'm like, it'd be so cool.
I think what they're gonna do,
almost like it's the lead up, right? Like you have the villains show up, and then he's just like, I haven't fought these motherfuckers, but they know who I am.
If I was doing this film, right, if I was doing this film, and I had the resources, and that was Toby and Andrew were gonna be in it. And I was using if I had the pieces of the chess pieces, what I would do is like towards the end, like I would have him kind of like fight each villain throughout the film individually, trying to get back to his own universe, and just things are messing up, and then towards the end, I would have them all team up, right?
Yeah,
and try to fight him, like the Sinister Six all team up to try and fight Tom Holland, and then Tom Holland's actually he's actually doing okay for like a minute or two. And then they just immediately, and then at a certain point, he just like starts losing.
They're like, you think we a joke?
And then they just smack him to the ground. He's almost like dead. And then like they're almost to do the finishing blow. And then
you just hear Underoos.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. Like, you okay, kid? And then Andrew and him right there, and they just help him up, and they're just like,
hi, my name is Peter.
You're like, I'm Peter. I'm Peter, or something. It's just something like a little quick joke, and then they're just like, well, I guess we better get to work or something like that.
I just want to see one.
Pizza time.
I just want to see one of them look at him and be like, "You're dead. I killed you."
Right, exactly. You're like, I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like you need some help. And then
just sitting there like, yeah. Toby just looks at fucking Green Goblin. He's like, "What?"
You're like, hell no, I killed you.
Like, your son went nuts and tried to kill me. I just want to see some cool banner in between Spider-Man.
Yeah, I want to see something. But anyways,
if it doesn't happen, I won't be disappointed, because if we get all these villains against Tom Holland, I'm still down.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, Spider-Man are cool, but like seeing Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin fight fucking...
At the end of the day, no matter what, we're still getting a Spider-Man film.
Yes.
And I know the Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is back, right? So, and Electro and all that. So we'll see. But I mean, at that point though, like, if you're gonna have their villains, just have the actual heroes themselves. But whatever.
I'm okay with waiting a whole nother movie for them to show up, to be honest.
I think this is Tom Holland's last thing, like this is his last film in the MCU as far as the Spider-Man goes, then he has to appear in one of the film.
Yeah, because he still has like the come together film.
Exactly. Like he can appear in one other film, but this is his last single film
for now.
For now, unless they renew the deal, which
dude, it's Tom.
I don't know.
I don't see them stopping with him. Like, I don't see them just being like, all right, you're good. I see them being like, people love you. Like, you've been in Avengers, you've been in 3 Spider-Man films. Like, well, you want to be Venom?
But the thing you thought, okay, but here's the thing: you start thinking about it as like, how many villains does Spider-Man really have?
A ton.
No, but it's like that they didn't bring up
Kraven the Hunter.
No, I agree with you, but they're creating a Kraven the Hunter movie.
Yes,
with Aaron Taylor Johnson. So at that point, unless they're going to cross over the Sony stuff with the Marvel stuff, then it's like, okay, we don't know. Like, they're going to have to take Tom Holland back to be able to put him in that stuff.
Andy Serkis has responded to something on an interview recently.
Well, we'll have to look into that later because I haven't heard about that.
He straight up said, like of course, Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to cross over with Venom.
Yeah, but okay, but that's an actor versus what a director says, right? Or like an actor.
Well, Andy Serkis directed Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, right. Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I'll have to look into
exactly. That's why I'm like, he could be.
I will look into that, and we'll
not only that, but I really just want to see Spider-Man fight all of his villains. Like, I really don't care how long they drag Tom Holland out. He could be in his 40s and I'd still be like, Spider-Man!
100%, yeah. I definitely agree. Honestly, I think that'd be kind of cool because if he got to a certain age, then he could have they could do the storyline where he has a kid.
Nice. Passing the mantle off.
And then the kid has the Spider-Man powers. Oh, but they better do a Miles Morales film at some point. I'd be so, but like I would honestly though.
They better be like at least.
I would trade Tom Holland for Miles Morales film easily.
Like, I just need to show like Miles Morales in Spider-Man No Way Home. Or at least like make a bigger reference to him than just having his uncle in like a
seriously like I want to say within the next maybe 5 years we're gonna hear about a live act. Well, let's see, probably I want to say 5 years after when the Spider-Verse 2 comes out, we'll hear about a live action Miles Morales film.
I'm just excited. I like Spider-Man.
Anyways, we're gonna move on to some. With that down, we're gonna venture on to some of our weekly movie watches +4. So some of these, I've seen every single one of these films. I want to say like there's like 2 in here that Bryce hasn't seen, so I won't go into spoilers for those.
I have had a very slow month.
No, that's okay. And so the first one that I'm going to touch on is James Wan's *Malignant*. So this is a new horror film that just came out. He's the one that did which series did he do? Was it The Conjuring?
He directed the first Saw film. He directed Dead Silence. He directed Aquaman. He directed
Conjuring, right?
Insidious.
Oh, Insidious.
He also directed The Conjuring.
Okay, he did, right. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, this is a new entry, not in any of his universes, just a fresh take on the film, and it's a lot of fun, dude. It's like, I was I mean, it's kind of scary. It's there's a lot of cool action there. There's a little bit of like, some cool twists in there, and there's a few, like, weird like editing choices that I'm like, okay, I don't know why you did that, like music editing choices that I was just a little like I tilted my head at a few times. And I wouldn't say it didn't completely pull me out of the movie, but I was just like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish there, bro. But really it was a ton of fun and I really recommend watching it.
That's good. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I just like haven't felt like watching movies, which is like a big shock. I know.
It's funny because it's like, well, I would say I'm the opposite, but I still know I don't feel like watching movies.
Dude, it's horrible. Like for the last month, I just really haven't felt like watching anything. So I'm like forcing myself every once in a while to watch a movie. I'm like, I'll watch this movie from 1950, whatever. Fucking just to put something on.
That's funny.
But it's been a lot of comedies. Like this, I've just been in a funk.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know, because I don't like comedy.
I know. That's why I'm like, are you okay?
No.
No. Oh, it's funny. So we'll get you to a therapist later, but in the meantime, we'll talk about Candyman.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I had the worst theater experience ever.
Oh, right. Okay, we're going to talk about your theater experience. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I had these people sitting behind me that would not shut up for the whole movie, even after I asked them to stop 3 times.
There's no way. Okay, but you asked them. What did they say? Did they say anything to you when you asked them to stop talking?
One of them was just starting laughing when I asked them. So I got up and got a manager to come tell him to shut the fuck up.
That's so mean, dude. Like, I don't understand people. Like, if okay, I mean, I go on a rant about not talking in a theater, but like, really, if you're gonna ask, like, if you get up, like a person gets up and asks you, can you not talk, and then they continue to do that, that's just rude.
Yeah, they're rude. So I was like, for like the first 3/4 of the movie, I really like don't remember what happened because I was just mad. The final act was really good. I like the final act a lot, and the acting's really good.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, the acting's really good.
Okay, but
Tony Todd, God, he has aged phenomenally. Like,
I would recommend you checking this out on maybe at home or at a time when
I already pre-ordered it on 4K, and we'll watch it again when it comes out because like I wanted to see it so badly, and I was like,
the first 3/4 of that film is actually the best part. I want to say the ending is a little like it dips a little bit. It's a solid ending. I just know it wasn't. It was just a little weird. I want to say it was.
Yeah, for sure. But I was on the edge of my seat during that whole thing. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, did they kick those people out then?
No. Okay, so I went to the counters, like the concessions, and they're like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Well, I had to file a complaint." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "It's nothing to do with you guys."
Right.
And so they got the manager, and he was this like gay black guy.
Okay.
And he was just like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, I got these two people up asking them to be quiet, and they're just not doing it." He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, can you guys go in there and like tell him to stop or something? He was like, "Yeah, I got you." So we like go over there, and we were at the door, and I was like, "Can you go in first so I can like go to the bathroom?" And then like that way they don't know that I went and got you.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, of course." So I came back and he like went up to the row and he was staying out like next to their row watching them, and I had 3 other people down below watching them.
Right.
And I just went and sat down, and then like the minute they started talking, he came over and was like, "We've had a lot of complaints about you. You need to like keep it quiet if possible." And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we've gotten a lot of complaints. You just need to shh." And he walked away. And I was just like, oh. And then they didn't say a word for the rest of the movie, but like we only had like 20 minutes left.
At least they were quiet at some point. Like I've had to do that a few times where I've had to get up. People like talk, like they're either talking or on their phone or something. So typically it works, but honestly, at a certain point, it's just like it. And then usually they get like the managers are super cool. At least where we go is they hooked me up with like these free passes that I never use, so I have like 20 of them.
Yeah, I just got so frustrated, but it's okay. I'll watch it again eventually. I had a lot of fun. I had fun with what the movie was about, but I didn't have fun with the viewing experience.
That's fair. I definitely understand that.
I think when I was doing my rating, I think I'd give it 3.5, and Jada was just like, "But it was so good." And I was like, "Yeah, but the theater experience sucked. That ruined my view."
It does. Movie. It really does. Like exactly. So I said, I thought that was a lot of fun. Good film. Now another horror film that came out that I think I gave an okay rating to.
You didn't say what you thought of Candyman.
Yeah, I did. I said it was pretty good, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I think the first
okay. I thought you were gonna go more in depth. My bad.
No, I mean it was pretty much like there was nothing. Like I really enjoyed the material in the beginning. I think the lore was really cool. I liked the slow descent. And then the eventual reveal was really cool. And then I think after that reveal, it just kind of tilted a little bit into like what entirely is trying to happen here. But even with the ending, it was like, even though I was still kind of like confused, it was like a good confusion because I was just like interested in what was going on. But like the characters were super solid, and the story was a lot of fun, and it was creepy when it needed to be, and it just kept moving. Like the film just kept moving, so it was good. So another film the horror film that came out, was Don't Breathe 2. I'm gonna start with you again on this one. I just gotta look up what I even thought about it because.
Do you know how unnecessary I find this film to be?
I normally like I'm like, okay, whatever, make a sequel, fine, and I don't really ever say it's unnecessary, but this one I want to agree with you, man.
Like watching it, I was like, I don't see why this needs to exist, but I don't hate it. Like I'm having fun, but like I just feel so unnecessary because the first one was like,
you're right, exactly.
And then I was sitting there and like the house scenes, I was like, man, that's intense as fuck. Like, this is pretty cool. When like the dudes, spoilers, I don't care. It's been like 3 weeks, but
at this point, yeah.
When the dude was like, "I'm your dad" to the girl, I was just like, I feel like he's lying.
Yeah, it didn't feel real, right, man?
I was like, this just seems too convenient. And
but
then
it was real.
And then like she gets to the place and she's like, oh, I'm gonna leave, and he's just like, okay. And like the mom, and I was like, this just feels like a fucking fake. Like, and then like I spent the whole time in denial, being like, that's not actually his daughter. There's no fucking way. That's so like, what is the odds? What are the odds? Seriously. And then like as the movie went on, like the ending, I thought the ending was brutal. And here's the fucked up thing: there was like 3 kids in my theater.
3 kids?
Like, we're sitting there in the seats and we're like waiting for the movie to start, and I see these like little like toddlers walking in the theater with their dad, and I was like, what? And then so there's this scene where she cuts off the mom's hand.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, man, these poor fucking kids.
No, I know. Why are like, this movie was a rated R. I was like, the last dude literally had come, like he was raping girls. I'm pretty sure, right? Like in the original one.
Yeah. So like, you know, I was like, I spent a lot of the movie watching all this fucked up shit happening, and just keeping in the back of my mind there was a little kid up at the top of the theater. It was just like, it was the only time something would happen where I was like, oh, that poor kid.
You're just like, no, please take him out of there.
But at the same time, I'm like, you know, it's not my problem. Like, it's not my place. But at the same time, I was like, man, it's kind of fucked up to show your kid this shit. What the
I
fuck?
know.
Quick thing. Did you know that the dog, right? Like the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, she totally left the dog there to die.
That was a little loud, but yeah, that's messed up, man.
Like, she's leaving the place, and I was just sitting there, I was like, dude, that dog's totally gonna die in there. Like,
yeah, that was a little messed up, man. I thought about that.
You know, unnecessary, but I had fun. Like, it's not a great horror movie. It's a dumb horror movie, but it's fun.
No, I mean, I think the first 2/3 of this film was very like
suspense, solid, like thriller stuff. Not really horror, but thriller. At
least, I guess
for
so.
me,
I guess so.
The house stuff was so intense because I was just like watching them try to like dodge everyone at the beginning. I was like, damn, this is pretty cool.
Honestly, the whole time I was trying to figure out like I did like that basement scene. That was kind of cool. But I was just trying to figure out like, why are you want me to root for this guy? Because I know
it's
this
so
guy
conflicting
is.
too, right? Because they're sitting there, and you're like, he's not a hero.
No, like, he's not. And I was sitting there like, okay, I was sitting there. I'm like, why do you want me to root for this guy? This doesn't seem right. And then finally, we get out of there, and then I think it was like the final the final act of this film is really when it picks up and finds its stride.
That final action scene, holy shit, with the smoke and stuff. I was like, man, this is fucking cool.
But before all that, I was just like, I wasn't feeling it really. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. And I was just like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. And then that last act was really like, well, especially with like the twists and stuff with the mom and the kid, and then like the other few twists there was at the end with people. You think people are dead, and then you're like, oh, they're not. And then it was actually pretty cool.
No, I had fun. I wouldn't watch it again, but I had fun.
I'd watch the first one again, but probably not the second one.
Oh, I feel that. I still need to.
We also, so that was all the horror films, quite a bit of, actually 3 this month. But we get to talk about another great, awesome film in Free Guy. This is the new Ryan Reynolds film where he's a video game character, and now he's seems like he's come to life because he has.
I saw this movie twice.
Twice? You saw it again? Man, I'm jealous. I feel like I should have seen this film again. I really enjoyed it. Okay,
so for context, we went and saw this at the biggest screen in Colorado Springs, and like the audio was fucking awful.
Yeah, I'm sorry to that theater, but like, first of all,
who cares how big the screen is? The sound rolls from the front to the back and creates echoes.
And I think I know why it does that. It's because the way, like the seating, because when you're sitting on the floor,
you're not elevated.
There's
no elevation.
When you have the elevation, the way the sound travels is more like up towards you versus straight at you, and then around that just echoes.
Yeah, I hated that. But at the same time, like, it was a fun movie, even with the shitty audio.
Yeah, 100%.
When I watched it again, I was having so much more fun because everything sounded and looked so good.
I gotta see it again, dude. I really should, because like I feel like I need to see Free Guy again at some point. But yeah, I mean it was so much fun. And like there said, there was that scene. I just gotta. This is that one scene I just gotta mention, but where you were Ryan Reynolds.
Is this the scene I think it is?
Yeah, with like the Captain America shield and the Star Wars, and he's fighting himself, like a bigger version of himself. And like you think in the trailers, like you see that scene, or like, well, you don't see that scene, but you see like the buff Ryan Reynolds, and you think it's the stupidest shit ever. But like in the movie, it works so well. And I literally got up out of my seat and cheered when that scene happened, because you hear. I'm just it's been a little bit, so
it's the Avengers theme.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Avengers theme, and I got so hype. I was like, no way. And then they play the Star Wars theme, and then
it's
like
literally as if Ryan Reynolds, like they got the rights, like Disney did, to this Fox movie, and he was like, so we can like use this stuff now, right? And they're like,
right,
yeah, Disney owns us. Like, well, we're gonna fucking use it then.
Exactly. And so I was just like, that is amazing. And then really the entire premise of this, it really reminded me of kind of like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, with a little bit of like I don't know,
GTA.
A little bit of GTA, I guess.
GTA.
I could see that. But it was different than what I thought it was going to be. I really didn't. I mean, I didn't expect him to be like just a regular NPC. I mean, I know that's what the trailer said, but I just didn't expect that.
Yeah, you like started off and you're just like, huh.
Yeah, he's an actual NPC, and then like, and the whole idea is that there's this algorithm that was built. I don't want to explain a whole lot of it, because it's actually pretty cool. But
it's
then
cute.
It's cute, exactly. And there's a lot of heartfelt moments in this, and then the action's cool. Fucking Channing Tatum shows up for like a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
You didn't? I love Channing Tatum.
I don't like him. He just has like a face I want to punch.
He has a face you want to punch.
Dude, it's terrible, because I think of like one of the main things I've ever seen him in was 21 Jump Street.
Right.
And I didn't like him in that either, because I just didn't like his character. And I like Jonah Hill. I think Jonah Hill's fucking hilarious. But I don't like Channing Tatum, even though they're really good together. But Channing Tatum just reminds me of like those like buff jocks in high school that just like act like they're cool. Right. I hate him.
Okay.
He comes off kind of fake and almost like he's just getting things because people are like, no, he's a cool guy. It's like, but is he?
But is he?
Meanwhile, Jonah Hill, I'm like, you hang out with Seth Rogen, like you do whatever the fuck you want, man. Like, respect.
Respect. Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. But I was definitely just having like a lot of fun with the movie, a lot of heart, and then Taika Waititi is in this as well, which I love. Taika Waititi, seeing him in things.
Oh, dude, like he just has so much fun in everything he does. Like, I don't think he takes a single role he does seriously. I think he just has fun.
He does,
and
exactly.
I love it.
And he was playing like a kind of a dick in this film, and it was still great.
He's just like he's just living it up. He's just like, you want me to play this mean guy? All right, cool.
I got you.
Then like the entire time, Jada didn't realize it was Taika Waititi, and I was like, yeah, that's the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok, and she's like,
what? Exactly, and that's what is cool about this, is like you just don't expect, like, that's cool. What's cool about Taika Waititi is you just don't expect something like that from him unless you know him. Like, you know, exactly.
It's so fun. I love him.
So that was like a lot of fun. I really recommend checking this one out. I think it's gonna be one of those films that we're gonna talk about for a long time. People are gonna talk about for a while.
Apparently, I don't know if this is real, but Letterboxd says there's making a sequel. No, it's Letterboxd.
I think they did. I think I heard that they greenlighted a sequel.
I don't know why I need a sequel to this. Like, it's fun, but I'm also like, everything was kind of tied up.
Just give me Deadpool, man. It's seriously like I really don't need a sequel.
Every Ryan Reynolds movie is just him being Deadpool until he gets to be Deadpool.
That's really accurate, though. I mean, you think it's a joke, but it's not. Like, every film, he's just Deadpool until he can actually be Deadpool.
They're like, it works. I don't know what to tell you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. People love it.
Exactly.
He's been doing the same kind of acting since like 2004. Like, ever since he did Blade Trinity and got the box of Deadpool comics, he's just like, I am Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, what? As soon as somebody's like, oh yeah, you're Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds mixed with the radioactive Sharpay. As soon as he saw that, he's like, "Oh no, I am Deadpool. I'm Deadpool. y'all can't try me on that." So that was a lot of fun. But we also, I don't think you got to watch this film. Naked Singularity, John Boyega's new film.
I was going to, but then I got really busy with getting my new job.
That's fair. Did I see this by myself then?
Probably. You did it when you were doing like the double feature.
Oh, I did. I went to see Snake Eyes and then this film.
Yes.
And I walked out of Snake Eyes because that's a horrible film. And then I watched Naked Singularity, which is a ton of fun.
I think we talked about Naked Singularity.
We might have. Yeah, I think we did. So
I'm remembering us talking about Snake Eyes and how you were talking about how you walked out of it in the last podcast episode.
Yeah, we did. I did totally talk about that. So if you want to hear how I thought about Naked Singularity, either A, check out my Letterboxd, or you can also check out our last podcast episode, and that should be episode 40.
How can you tell it's been a while since we've done this? We're going back to old movies because we don't know when the last podcast was.
That's fair. It really is though. And we also this is the coup d'etat of our I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. I shouldn't have said that. But our cream our cream of the crop, if you will.
It just sounds worse.
Our tittle of the toddle of the show today. We got Marvel's new film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so
yes.
So we saw this preview night.
Of course.
And I actually was starting my new job that day, the day before that, and they were like, "When can you work?" And I was like, "So I can't work the afternoon of that night because I bought tickets like 3 weeks ago, and I'm not missing that showing."
No,
and
dude.
Because I used to work with her with my woman who's my boss, and she was just like, "No, I get it. We'll put you in at 6 to 2." And I was like, "Good,
good." All right, so I'm gonna start off the bat here and say this is what they should have started out with instead of Black Widow after coming back and other things. Black Widow's was lackluster, and I feel like Shang-Chi was so much fun.
I get you, like I understand, but at the same time, I feel like Black Widow was a safe place to start.
I feel like there was. Well, that's a good point.
Black Widow should have been like fucking after Civil War. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. She could have had her movie way sooner. Because Black Widow doesn't need to wait till she dies to get a movie. That's bullshit. But anyway, for them to start Phase 4, it is safe for them to like use old characters. That way they can build up their audience getting excited again, and then they can be like, here's some new stuff. Because otherwise, if you go from like fucking Far From Home and then immediately jump into Shang-Chi, you're like, what happened to my guys?
All right, that's a good point. I didn't think about
Black Widow. I'm like, we didn't need the movie where it is. I mean, but I get why they did it.
That film never. I wouldn't say never should come out. I want to say Black Widow. No matter when you put it, it still would have been way too late. So
yeah, like it's honestly, like even in Phase 3, a Black Widow movie would have sucked. But
as far as what I'm mentioning,
whatever.
Like the excitement of watching a Marvel film and it really being awesome and new and like it feeling so good, like I haven't had that. I feel like since
Far From Home.
Far From Home, like 2-3 years ago.
2019.
So it's been 2 years. I guess
July of 2019.
Yeah, so it has been about a little 2 years. I just want to mention off the bat here. I won't go into too many story details. But I want to say I love Aquafina. She just steals the show. I love
her in this.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't treat her as a side character. I mean, she is a side character, but they really treated her as if she was one of the main characters. And I appreciated that so much. She even has a role to play in the end of the film, and it's beyond what most minor characters or like side characters do. She's the sidekick, but like without the sidekick, I don't know. I really understood like her character and it was like as if she was important to the film. And then you have Simu Liu's character, the Shang-Chi, and he's just a regular dude, and that's what I love about him. Like he's just a regular dude until he wasn't, and even though he was like this kung fu warrior, like he still was just himself, and that's what I loved about it.
Dude, so first off, when we saw Shang-Chi, I was not in a good state of mind. I just found out my little sister was pregnant, so I was pretty fucked up, and I was like, I'm thankful I'm going to see a movie I want to see, but I wasn't there. Right. I rewatched it again on Sunday. Holy shit, this movie's so good.
I know. It's so much fun.
I liked it the first time. I was like, this is a 4-star movie. I'm just not like in a good state of mind.
Right.
That like when I was on Sunday, I was like, damn, this is really good. Like, holy shit. Like, it's so much fun. Like, it moves so fast. I still feel like the Mandarin is not a very
Ben Kingsley's character?
No. Like, I don't know. I can't pronounce.
Because I don't think he's the actual Mandarin.
But I'm talking about like the Shang-Chi's dad.
Yeah.
I still don't feel like he's a good villain. just for this movie. Like I get like he's a good villain, quote unquote, but I didn't feel like he was really a villain,
which is a hallmark of Marvel films.
Yeah, but like, you know, when I view like Thanos, like Thanos is a villain. Bro. Vulture's a quote unquote villain, but he's more of a selfish person than like an actual villain.
He's a better villain than I think.
But I like villains that have like Killmonger, where like you get where they're coming from. Like Killmonger had good reasoning behind what he was doing. But this villain, I just kind of felt like
bland almost a little bit. Like
I was like,
dad,
compared to other villains, like your motivation's kind of not there. And then the big dragon at the end, I was like, not like the good dragon, like the you know, Alduin looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck his name is. But
I have no idea either, dude. Like,
but like he showed up and I was just like, all right, this just feels like you're shoehorning in a last act villain.
That really, I want to say I was disappointed by that ending, because I feel like the ending, even though it I don't know, it allowed like Shang-Chi to use the rings, and then, you know, it just felt very like, okay, so we were like, this was a character film, a character study. And then that ending happens, and I was like, okay, we're just doing a CGI fest. Like, it was better than Godzilla versus Kong, but
yeah, I don't know. I just like, I want to see like classic villain getting taken down by the hero's own strength, than just like, okay, whatever, you had a quick fight and now it's over because there's a bigger villain. Oh no.
Yeah, man. I was like, just show me something.
Even when he like showed up to take Shang-Chi with his sister, I was just like, I don't feel like you're a villain. Like, I just feel like you're just like doing your own thing.
And this is what I'm always going to probably reference back to this, because it's even more prevalent as we move forward into all these superhero films. But you have a film like Spider-Man from 2002, and the villain of the film, literally in the entire ending of the film, there is no end of the world. There is no, like, everything's gonna get destroyed.
It's just two guys duking it out.
Well, I mean, yes, but the whole ending of that film and really the final battle was Green Goblin saying, "Choose between a bus full of kids and the woman you love." That was the ending of this film. That was the climax of that film, and I was like, there was nothing more important between that bus, like, than that bus and those and that and
not every movie needs a world-ending catastrophe.
Right, exactly. And and I really feel like that this film was leading up to something really special,
with
and then it just ripped away from
like
me.
Kung fuing it up with his dad.
Yeah, it could have been something so special with his dad. It could have been an intimate moment, and then they took it away from me. For that I'm not entirely happy. But even at that point, I loved the character so much that I was like, you know what? Even though I'm not liking what's going on right now, I'm still going to enjoy the ending. I'm still going to enjoy it because I love these characters.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. I'm super excited to see more of these guys.
Yes,
even Aquafina, because I feel like she's in a lot of stuff, but she's so fucking funny in this, and it fits her character, like her acting so well for this character. That she's like, the end of the movie when they were walking with Wong, I was like, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait.
I'm just like, you know, like, I can just only imagine Aquafina and Captain America being in the same room together. Like, that would be.
She's gonna say something. He's gonna be looking at her like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, who invited her? Like,
I will mention one thing about post-credit scene. I'm gonna need some goddamn explanation about how Bruce Banner's human again.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And if that's in She-Hulk, I don't care. I need to know how he became human again.
But I am 100% happy that's happened. That happened.
Oh yeah, get rid of CGI Hulk.
Please,
I'm good with that.
Please get rid of that smart Hulk. I want them to go back to, like, Hulk being this outraged monster that Bruce can't control.
I'm okay with that not being there, because I like Hulk as his own character, just being like, I just want to do my own thing, man. I just want to beat people up and be happy. And then Bruce is just like, no, you beat people up to save the world. He's like, the world hates me. I don't want to help the world. Fuck the world.
I mean, I know they did some of that in Ragnarok with some character development, but my whole thing is like, I just love the unbridled rage of not. I mean, I don't want to go to like the level of
Avengers kind of stuff.
Avengers Age of Ultron. You know, that one where he was insane. Not that level. Like, I wouldn't mind.
I just want more about his strength and like how he can.
I want it to be Hulk to be a different character, but like to be when he turns into the Hulk, for it to be like there is like some sort of rage there, and it's something beyond just like Bruce Banner, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, I'm excited for that. There's a lot of Marvel stuff going on right now, and like I live for it.
Yes, but it still feel even. I still feel like I'm in the like the Twilight Zone right now. I don't know if it makes sense. I know we've gotten two movies down,
3 TV shows currently in 1.
Well, yeah. What if is I don't quite count that because it doesn't feel like part of the MCU.
Even though
it feels like a side piece. Well, no, I guess so.
But it's more like just a fun little like. Ooh.
Well, but when you do anything animated, when you're doing a live action thing, it just doesn't feel the same to me. Like,
I'm trying to think. There's like been other examples of people who've done animated shows that have been canon.
You're right. I think Star Wars does it a lot.
Yeah, the Clone Wars is like all canon.
Exactly.
But they did that. Like the movies were already there, and the Clone Wars is set in between, so they just had to make sure whatever they did didn't break the Revenge of the Sith canon.
Right.
So they were just like having to tiptoe around that. Like I think one of the big things is like in the Revenge of the Sith, it shows Anakin meeting General Grievous for the first time. So during the Clone Wars, like 7 season runtime, they can never let General Grievous and Anakin meet.
Wow.
Because of one line in Revenge of the Sith.
Like, oh, first time we're meeting.
Well, it's like, I thought you'd be taller. And then it's just like, because of that one line saying that they'd never met, they had to keep them separated the entire show.
That's funny.
But with Marvel, it's a little bit different because like it's going linear.
I mean,
almost.
I know it's the same like universe because they're using the same characters and it's like what if, but it's like a multiverse thing, so it's really not connected to like
until one of the multiverse people show up in live action.
Yeah, but even then, it's like it's like.
Or like okay, so like I know this frustrates you, but imagine how confused people are going to be if they only watch the movies and Captain Carter shows up.
Well, I don't know, man.
If they haven't seen Loki or anything else, and just Captain Carter shows up, like you know how fucking confused everyone's gonna be.
Yeah, I would be confused too. I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
Part of me really wanted to not watch any of the shows and just watch the movies until like Phase 5, and then watch the shows just because I wanted to know what you had to know.
I almost barely count the shows as. I know they're part of the thing. But like, just the shows are like side
adventures.
They're side adventures compared to the real thing. And it's like, okay, the films are what's like, the main course, right?
Yeah.
So
they're, they're like appetizers.
Exactly. So like we're gonna get in, in Captain America 4, we're gonna get Sam Wilson. Sorry, that took me a second.
Yeah, I always want to say Falcon, and I'm like, his name's not Falcon anymore.
My first name my head went to was Roy, and I was like, that's not right. It was Roy. But anyways, Sam Wilson. And like obviously like people are going to be a little confused, but then like okay, he gave me the shield and blah blah blah, and they might mention something about the hand or whatever. But like it's so like but that like, when I see it on the big screen, that's real, And then versus like this stuff on the TV, it's like okay, it's happening, and I know this is part of the MCU, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't have that big like the same impact.
Pow thing.
That exactly.
That makes sense.
And especially when you go delve into like animated stuff where it's like Elseworlds adventures they could come into the films or later, which then I was like, okay, well then I'll recognize that like one piece from the this Elseworld stuff they're doing. But I mean that's the whole concept of the film is what if, I'm
just gonna state something. Fuck Marvel for not releasing these shows on physical media. Because I'm having to buy everything bootleg, and I hate that. So Kevin Feige is like, no, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna find a goddamn way, bitch.
That's funny. No, I mean, I definitely understand. I mean,
I get it.
As far as like collecting goes,
but I hate it because I'm like,
yeah,
I know where you're coming from. I understand why, because Marvel's like a big thing. Released on physical media, you're not gonna have it streaming. You'll pay $20 for a season when you can buy fucking $13 a month, and people are gonna be like, oh, look what else is on here, and keep it on. But I want the MCU, so I have to find a way to buy them from Russia.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Given they have been really good quality bootlegs, I'll give them that. They're good quality.
Yeah, because you can stream 4K. They can like rip the 4K. They just literally probably screen record their 4K thing.
But I got it, and they have menus. Like the guys put effort into making menus, so you can actually fucking props bootleg. Like you didn't have to do that, but you did.
That's props. I love that. Well, any last thoughts?
That's just a little side note of my struggle with Marvel right now, because I just bought Loki on Blu-ray because I couldn't fucking buy it on actual things.
Speaking of that, not that specifically, but I want to jump back into Shang-Chi real quick. I think this is probably one of like the smartest like moves they've done as far as like redemption. In Iron Man 3, everybody just hated how the Mandarin turned out to be a fake. And then they use that to their advantage in Shang-Chi. Ben Kingsley comes back, and then he's in this film for the last last quarter of it with this like thing called Morris, and it's like this little faceless like like furry creature, and he's the only one that can speak to it, and so he guides and he's basically their guide with this creature, and like he's just the funniest, and there's a whole monologue he has before they go into like this adventure, and the monologue is just like absolutely hilarious. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here.
I'm just a conduit for a vessel that is much wiser than me. What? Go.
Yeah.
What do you mean go? Go. Morris says you can go. Go now.
Dude, like, yeah, that whole scene, honestly, it was just, and it was just amazing. I really loved it. And I was like,
I asked my mom how they got the monkeys to do that.
I'm Trevor Slattery. Oh,
I think the funniest part was it took you a full like 2 minutes to realize who the fuck that was, and I was like, "What?" You were just like,
I was like, "What?" And then he said Trevor Slattery, and I'm like, "No, wait, yeah. It's a Mandarin."
It's the meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where he's sitting there like at the TV, he's like, "Oh."
It was, yeah. But it was so cool. That was cool, and then there were just so many other cool moments in this film that the trailers really did not do this film justice whatsoever.
Oh no! This movie is so much fun.
But I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know what I would have put in the trailers, because it's like everything else.
Everything was so important.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what you would even put in the trailers, because like
that's why they put Abomination. They're like, we have nothing else, just throw Abomination in the log in there.
Actually, in that scene, like it was longer. I'm glad it was longer than what they showed us, and it was actually pretty good.
I just like seeing Wong. He's like the Nick Fury of Phase 4.
Yeah, until Nick Fury shows up again. Now the thing about it, Nick Fury's like, what the fuck is he? He's still alive. Anyways,
he's in space.
We could totally go into Marvel for days, but I think that was kind of like the last bit there. And I just want to thank you guys for joining us as we talked. The newest and most promising trailers, the newest films in theaters right now. We really appreciate you joining us, and
we'll have more movies to talk about next time we do
exactly.
This. I like next time because we had to
next
figure
time
out
on Dragon Ball Z. No, really, we just really appreciate it, and like as movies start coming out more, we're gonna be able to talk about like a lot more stuff. So, I
did lose my Thursday day off, so now I struggle going to preview nights.
Sad days, but we'll figure it out.
Sucks.
Exactly. But new episodes come out every week on Tuesday. At least they should. So be sure to follow us and turn on notifications to get updates every time we post. If you want to keep, I know, man. If you want to keep up with our activities outside of the airwaves, you can stalk us on Instagram, where we post like once every 3 months at Into the Filmverse podcast. Just being realistic with y'all, sometimes you have to. Bryce, where can people follow you and your online adventures?
So you can find me on Letterboxd at Payne Reviews, Payne Reviews. I post a lot of movie stuff, a lot more than Mytchel does.
Yeah,
I watch a lot more weird stuff than Mytchel.
True.
You can find me on Twitter at Sanguine Films.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my Instagram right now,
and he doesn't have Instagram right now. So
right, yeah, I deactivated my Facebook account, and I got rid of my Instagram.
Oh, because Instagram was connected. That makes sense.
So I have to figure out how to get that back, but I really don't want to turn back on Facebook because I've been enjoying not having it.
That's fair. And if you want to, you can stay connected with me, Mytchel Chandler, by simply following me on Facebook and Instagram at author Mytchel Chandler, on Twitter at Mytchel Chandler, and on Letterboxd at Mitch Reviews. And just remember, Mytchel and Mitch is spelled differently, so it's Mytchel. And that is all for this time, our fellow cinephiles. And until our next adventure, Excelsior!